This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're down at the BT studios today. We've just had the weigh-in ahead of tomorrow night's show at the Royal Albert Hall. With me, Frank Warren. Frank, how are you?
I'm marvellous. How are you, young man?
I can't complain. Thank you very much for asking. As mentioned, we've got the show tomorrow night. All the fighters weighed in. No hiccups, nothing like that. We're good to go. Tell me what we can expect tomorrow night.
I think we're going to get a good night's boxing. Some fireworks. It's obviously a varied amount of varied fights there, but I think it delivers everything. Explosive heavyweight fight. Great history-making women's title fight. First time women have ever had a world title fight at the Albert Hall, so I'm looking forward to that with Nicola. And then we got that cracking fight between Declan and Archie. That's going to be a great fight as well.
Now I just want to touch on those few fights just quickly. We'll start with Daniel back at Royal Albert Hall. Headlines against Ebenezer Tete. Relatively unknown quantity. I know you spoke to Andy about the fight at the press conference. General consensus today and on that day as well was, though we don't know much about Ebenezer, it might unfold like the Richard Lartey fight. We expect him to come forward and have a go. Is that how you see it?
Well, he looked very confident, didn't he, just now when they did the face-off. There was no nerves there at all. And apparently he's Lartey's cousin, I just heard. So, he apparently gets the better as well of Lartey in sparring. And the last fight, Richard Lartey come to fight and it was a bit of an explosive affair. So if it's half as good as that, I'll be delighted. But the most important thing is that we want Daniel to come through victorious.
Now, Daniel recently won Boxing Writers Young Boxer of the Year. He's picked up the Southern area, the English, the British. Now he's going for the Commonwealth. On the back of the Nathan Gorman fight, there was obviously people complaining that he's going in with a more relatively unknown quantity. That said, at 22 years of age, how hard is it to sort of manage that expectation of Daniel Dubois? Because he is moving at such a pace.
He's only had 12 pro fights. I don't know what anybody's moaning about. It's a Commonwealth title. And that's the guy who's got to fight for the Commonwealth title. If he wants to win the belt, he's after the belts. So that's what he's fighting, an undefeated fighter, 19 wins, 16 knockouts, so he can punch. That's what it is. And, don't knock it. I mean, everybody said that Wallim was a nobody against Tyson Fury, which proved to be not the case.
Now, tomorrow night, among the fans that are going to be there, I was down at Dale Youth Boxing Club watching Daniel go through a workout in front of the kids down there last week. Dale Youth reopened after the Grenfell tragedy. We also saw Daniel not only giving them advice, but also kindly giving them tickets as well. I'm sure you'll agree, Frank. A great gesture, and they'll make plenty of noise for Daniel tomorrow night as well.
Well, I hope they will. He's one of their own, and the people there went through a terrible tragedy, and it was a traumatic experience for all concerned. But they're back now. They've opened up a gym there, which is great for the kids in the local community, and we'll do all we can to help. And Daniel insisted that they get some tickets, which we have no problem with, to give away to them.
Now, as I mentioned before, there's always that expectation with Daniel because he is moving so quickly for someone so young. He's blowing guys away. The fight that always seems to be talked about, I'm sure you're getting asked about it, is Joe Joyce, and we always hear every title and talk of the European title going into next year. Do you think these are realistic fights should he come through this on Friday night?
Well, I hope it is, but first of all, Joe Joyce has got to win the title. They just only today announced that it's Huck to be the challenger, so we'll see what happens. And that fight, we want to try and get it on as soon as possible. Hopefully get it on before the end of the year, and then we'll see how it pans out next year.
Let's just touch on the rest of the bill quickly. You mentioned Nicola Adams, the first female world title fight ever take place at York Hall. She won the belt out of the ring, a bit of a period of inactivity. She told us the other day that this will feel like her world title winning fight, returning to the ring and fighting for that belt. Is it important for Nicola to get that rust off before she goes on a charge for sort of unification fights and bigger fights going forward?
She's a year out of the ring and she's fighting a girl who's got a lot of experience. She's 6 years younger than Nicola. She's had 4 goes at fighting for world titles and gone the distance each time. The last one she lost by a split decision. So she's got much more professional experience than Nicola, who's only had 5 fights. It's going to be tough for her, but I want it to hopefully come through this, and then we can talk about unifying the titles next year.
Let's move on to Archie Sharp against Declan Geraghty. Declan Geraghty up on the stage there looked very confident. He was shadow boxing off to the side while Archie was weighing in. A very respectful face-off, but like I say, that confidence is flowing through him. We hear of all of Archie's ambitions and what could happen next year, which we'll come on to. But tough fight in front of him tomorrow night, first of all.
It is a tough fight. It's a tough fight for both of them. I mean, it's why I think it's going to be it probably won't be in the fight of the night. He's very confident, as you say, Declan, but so is Archie. He's a very confident fighter. He's been on a roll since October, put some good wins together, and this again is great for the fans. And I'm hoping we're going to get, a little classic out of it.
As mentioned, Archie's got his own ambitions going into next year. He told me last week if I get through this fight, I want to fight Jamel Herring. I feel I'm ready to fight Jamel Herring out in America. He even said he'd like to fight in a Tyson Fury undercard. Is that realistic, Frank?
Let's get through this fight first of all. That's the main thing. He's got to get through a tough fight tomorrow night.
Now, Frank, before I let you shoot, I just wanted to get your thoughts on something that's been announced today. Nigel Benn has announced his comeback, 55 years of age, against Saki Obika. Your thoughts, Frank, 55 years of age, Birmingham, November 23rd.
Well, it should be happening, should it? You know, I don't know why the reason it's happening. I don't know if Nigel, I hope he's not got financial difficulties, but the bottom line is it shouldn't be happening. You know, 55 years of age, being out the ring for, 23, 24 years. And I remember when his very last fight, he said, that's it, I've had enough. I'm not fighting any more of you. I'm not going to have my brains knocked out just for the public. Well, he should be in there. You know, and I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for Nigel and all what he's done, but I wish he wasn't doing this. And I don't like, you know, it doesn't sit well with me that people are encouraging him to do it. He shouldn't be doing that.
All right, Frank, I appreciate you've got meetings and things to get on with other than speaking to myself, so I'm going to let you run, but thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, man, all the best. See you.